Hey YouTubers, empowered individuals. Thanks to anyone who has watched and commented on my videos, including perps and spies. Hopefully my videos serve a positive purpose to any and everyone watching them, including perpetrators. I hope you guys on the perpetrator end can see that lots of us out here are speaking out about the total bullshit treatment by unknown entities to the citizens of the world in America, and that lots of us aren't going to take it, and that we are walking with God and praying for you too. I'll say it. I pray for especially you guys doing the perpetrating. I know a lot about mind control and how it is used to manipulate people into being perpetrators of many different crimes and horrible atrocities in this country and world. And I tend to believe that a lot of the worst perpetrators out there are probably also some of the worst victims. So, despite my getting very angry and upset and all of the range of negative emotions due to the horrible treatment given to me, often I try to step out of that frequency and pray for you guys. And I do that. I pray that we all are saved and spared from the evil agenda that is like a disease that is spreading through the human race and causing those that are sick to make everyone else sick. So I certainly am not going to become sick with your poison and your disease and continue to spread it. And we all make choices, so I don't condone those of you who are out there perpetrating on others' choices, but I do also forgive you. So, anyway, that said, those of you that are being perpetrated upon, thank you, all of you out there who are brave and courageous and strong enough to stay alive and speak up and admit things that are very difficult to admit and put you in a compromised, even more compromised position. As I hear other empowered individuals expressing, the community that we're building out here on the internet is extremely valuable. I hear others saying that, and it is to me as well. I relate more to you guys than I do anyone else these days, really. So, yeah, this video, and I will also just say to anyone who might have been expecting my yoga video that I a couple months ago promised to post, that will be coming soon. Just had a lot of distractions. Anyone watching right now, thank you. And thank you to everyone else out there putting out your videos. There's been so much information and just witnessing the rest of you guys that's been so helpful to me on spiritual levels, on nuts and bolts levels of just understanding what's happening to me by seeing others go through that and explain it. And anyway, the point of this video is to talk about unknown marks on your bodies, marks that appear on your body that you don't remember how they've been acquired. I haven't heard too many quote unquote T.I.s talking about that, but I find marks on my body all the time that I have no recollection whatsoever of acquiring them. And I just wanted to put this out there. So I do have some photos I'm going to post at the end. I've been finding these marks on my body for years. I do have just a couple pictures from some things that showed up the last few weeks. But I am going to be scouring through my tons and tons of photos and try to find some others. But I don't jump to conclusions. Some of the marks on my body could easily just be some kind of accident or injury I acquired myself that I just don't remember, and it wasn't that significant, so it didn't really lock into my memory. But I guess one of those would be this strange scab I found here on my lower right rib cage the other day. I'll post a picture of that. Um, it's a strange looking scab to me, um, and I don't remember how I got it. It's not very big. So I noticed that when I was getting into the bath the other night, and I find stuff like that a lot. So that classifies more as could be anything, but I definitely do find marks on my body that there's not natural at all. There's no way they could be naturally occurring. For instance, here on my right wrist, right there in the center, and where the lines of the crease are, where it bends, if I can do this, just like right here. I don't know if that showed up. About 6 or 7 years ago, I knew I was being watched and stuff. I've known that for the last 13 or 14 years since it's been happening, but I didn't per se call myself or regard myself as a targeted individual. I don't know if I even ever heard of that phrase at that point in time yet, but I was living in Seattle, which is where I believe my targeting began, about 2002 or 3. In about 2009, the end of 2009, I moved to California. I drove from Seattle to California throughout the night to get there, and little did I know, and to my shock and amazement, when I discovered as I drove by that I would be driving by Mount and Lake Shasta. Um, I don't know too much about it. I've certainly read some stuff and heard some stuff about it, that there are bases there, lots of strange UFO sightings and occurrences, but um, when I just stumbled across this area, I was pretty floored by it, and it was definitely a very weird experience. I It's very blurry and strange. I tend to, this is speculation, but I almost feel like I lost time in that area or something strange. It just became a very surreal experience once I got into that area. It's very vague, foggy memories. This was like 7 years ago. Um, but it just sort of seemed like I went into this alternate universe. There seemed to be no cars on the freeway. I think this was Interstate 80. For a long, long time, it just seemed like I suddenly was in the middle of nowhere and all by myself. Um, the other strange thing I remember at that moment was seeing these orbs or just bright balls, circles of light appearing in the road in front of me, that were definitely not headlights. Um, and they certainly were like moving closer to me. I just remember that, and it seeming like I was in that general area for a really long time. So I actually am going to do some research how many miles it is from, I think I encountered Lake Shasta first and then drove past Mount Shasta. I feel like that whole span of driving and time took several hours, but I don't remember. But the reason I mention it is just that that was a very surreal, weird experience. Um, I don't really know how else to describe it other than that it was just weird. And the reason I'm mentioning it is the following day, once I had gotten to California, I was sitting underneath a really bright light,